Okay, so yeah, hey everyone, thanks for joining. This is one of our kind of second March 45-minute Fluent community meetings. We got a pretty good agenda here. I have a couple topics that I didn't put on the agenda, but are more just logistic wise. I've seen a lot of folks do community meetings through meetup.com, and I think I'll probably start moving some of the Fluent meetings to that. I think it just has a nice system to remind folks and easy sign up and whatnot. Of course, not necessary. We'll still keep this Google Doc agenda. So if you want to be anonymous and just drop in via Zoom, that's perfectly fine. No need for Meetup, but for those who do want a little bit more kind of organization around it, I think that will be great. Yeah, I think besides that, we are looking at FluentCon coming up in May. So we have some sessions already. I think the agenda will come out here, I believe next week. So that'll be really exciting, and folks will be able to really start to see what's going on, and for folks who are in Europe, it'll be a good chance to meet up in person if you can. And yeah, I think besides FluentCon, we'll have a couple of sessions at KubeCon itself. A lot of discussions about like what's next for FluentBit, FluentD. We've been really focusing on metrics and more open telemetry style integrations. And we're really interested in the community feedback to say, hey, what's really useful there for users. So this is a great forum for it, but also FluentCon can help us get some more feedback a little bit more rapidly. Okay, with that, maybe we can go ahead and switch into kind of what you have listed there, Pat, from an agenda standpoint.
Yeah, I didn't have anything too massive. I just wanted to bring up a few things. Obviously, the FluentCon schedule's out as well now, so that's pretty good.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I'll just have a quick. I'll put the link
Thanks.
in there. So that's out by the looks of it. So a couple of issues. There's quite a few stale branches, so just trying to publicize that to get people to clean up any that are theirs before we go in and smash them. So there's quite a few there that are like merged from PRs or just sat dead for multiple years. So if anyone's got stuff that's sat there that they don't want or needs merging, probably best to do it. The other one is the regular release cadence. So I don't know if you want to bring that issue up just to highlight what's going on.
One quick thing for the branch cleanup, I think this is great. Especially like we should absolutely clean up the ones that are already merged.
Yeah.
The one thought though was like the ones that are kind of like dynamic stream processing, where it's like a test PR, nothing done there. Like we can keep those things around, right? And like it's not.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to like tag them in some way. It might be useful.
Tag might be better.
Because there's a lot of other ones that are just kind of abandoned. So probably need to have a look at that. Yeah, certainly all the merged ones I think should be a no-brainer to like just delete those, but also give people notice because maybe they're merged but they put more changes on. I don't know. It'd be a bit funny. And there might just be some that are sat around that are just there's like big query, like one on there. Do they need pull requests? Are they dead? Kind of, is it something that maybe there was a pull request and it got closed or stuff like that? So there's a few.
Yeah, so anything below 1.7 merged, delete, no problem. I know there's like some question of like, did we backport some? So it might be merged in 1.9, but it might be merged in 1.8. So we probably just like a sanity check on some of them.
Well, I think if we can close the ones that are merged, that's probably a good first step, and probably need to enable that auto closing when PRs are merged as well. Although then, do people want that if they're doing backporting? But
Yeah.
It's a bit funny to backport from, you'd end up having to rebase, and it gets a bit messy. And then the regular release. So one of my frustrations before was like, what's the release process? How often does it go on? Let's make sure it's automated. So what we're proposing here, and it's sort of partially implemented now, is nightly builds. So we got those for 1.8 and master. So there, if you look on the GitHub repo, you've got unstable releases, which are nightly builds of all supported packages, Windows as well, and the containers. And then those feed in. The plan is, so for 1.9, we already have an automation workflow for staging and release. And the plan is to hook unstable up into stable. So we do unstable. Unstable may fail tests. It's just a nightly build. If it doesn't fail tests, it goes into staging, and then we always have something in staging that should be green that we can release. So the plan is to like automate that. So like every 2 weeks or whatever we decide, we just take what's in staging, make it into a release. And obviously there's some stuff to deal with, like making sure semantic versioning is maintained and stuff like that. But those are problems we can solve. But yeah, that's the plan. Just wanted to make sure people were aware. But yeah, it's like, so you push a merge in, you don't have to go, when is it going to come out? And Eduardo doesn't have to do loads of work to get a release out, and we know it's been tested and stuff like this. And there's also some requests to like, we do some integration, we do a load of integration testing for PRs, but there's not so much performance and kind of resilience testing. And the plan is to hang those off staging. So we do like, we'll get, unstable, we'll get some level of testing to say, yeah, this is okay to release. But then maybe we want to hang off performance and resilience testing. That's a bit more like resource intensive. You don't want to do it every single push or commit or whatever. You just want to do it maybe when you've got a nice stable baseline. And so that's where we're gonna hang those off. And yeah, just make it all automated. So nightlies go into staging when they're okay. Staging sits there and then gets updated with okay nightlies, and then staging is basically always releasable, and we can just push the button and it goes out the door.
Awesome.
That's the plan. So yeah, if you can see the unstable ones, there's a few things I want to do on that as well. There's a few changes, so quite a lot of stuff's already in there. There were some big changes initially to deal with building from source for packages and containers, because there was lots of reliance on people creating tags first and then building those tags, which is not what we want for nightlies. There's a few other bits and pieces. Yeah, we got the git commits in the version output now, which is quite useful because we had an issue where we accidentally released a 1.8.13, I think, which was built on 1.8.12 source. So it should pick up those kind of things quite easily now. Yeah, so it's all in there. And maybe if you go to the releases bit on Fluent bit, so if you go to, just go to the main repo and then jump to the releases section. So it won't show up in there in the like the sidebar because it's not a official release, but yeah, you can see what's in that. Quite a lot of changes by me. But it kind of gives you the change log from the last release. And then you've got a big set of packages for all the, so if we open the assets there, so that's all the packages. So I was uploading individual packages for like each OS and architecture, but the GitHub, well, it's a bit flaky now, quite a lot, but a month or two ago when I was testing all this, it's better to upload one big file than it is to upload lots of small files, because I was getting occasional failures and then the whole release fails, so it's a bit of a pain. So we got that. So I just wanted to highlight that, just so people are there. So this is not for production, but it kind of gives you a build, like if you had a change that had gone in, like when's it going to appear for my target, all that, it's here every night. So these builds, so master builds about 6 o'clock in the morning UTC, so it's good for me because when I have my coffee come in, I can check if it's worked. And then 1.8 builds 6 o'clock UTC PM, so about 12 hours apart. And there's a 1.9 build set up, but we don't have a branch for it, so it just fails at 12 o'clock. So yeah, I found that if I did a build overnight UTC time, like 2 a.m. or whatever, a lot of the repos fail, particularly CentOS ones. It just fails to download dependencies. So I think there's some flakiness overnight with maintenance windows and stuff like that. So bit of trial and error, but 6 a.m. seemed to be the best option for doing builds. And the last one, so 1.9 was out a while ago. 1.8.15 is out today. I've published all the packages just so people are aware. We changed the GPG keys. There was a few issues with them. There were like Eduardo's personal keys and things like that. So they're a proper like Fluent bit IO release key now. But it's flagged in the documentation, but there are a few questions on Slack and stuff like that. So people just need to be aware that you might see some. If you
let's do a tweet, and then maybe we could do a pinned issue. I think that would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the docs as well. You can have a look on those as well. But yeah, that's a problem. Because the main issue is, so all the new stuff, so from 1.9 and 1.8.15, it's all signed with the new keys. But obviously the legacy stuff that hasn't been updated hasn't been touched. There's a little bit of stuff there. So yeah, that's what I had. There was one other thing, but I've forgotten what it was. Doing all that talking. Oh, Fluent Talks. We should mention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I could give a quick overview. So for folks, we do it's more of a Calyptia thing. So we as a company do this thing called Fluent Talks every Friday. This Friday we're going to do one on OpenShift. And we just, Pat just published a blog about OpenShift, getting logs, sending it to Splunk, Elasticsearch, and Grafana. So we welcome folks from the community to join this audience as well.
And ask other questions as well, like I think there's some, like, it'd be nice to have a section on like what's Windows Fluent bit and things like that.
Yeah.
Bits and pieces like that. And actually that's something that's come up recently. So I'm doing Windows builds nightly. We've obviously got the AppVeyor ones for releases. Containers, who's using them? Because they're massive, like the Windows containers we build. I've stopped building them nightly because they're 6 gig and they just take like an hour and a half to build. It's just terrible. So it's whether anyone actually needs them. I'd like to add macOS builds as well for the packages, which would be nice nightly.
Mac we might be able to add later in their release cycle, but I've started to see that pick up a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I guess Bing Fang, Chica, anything you want to add? Any questions, thoughts?
No, I don't have any. I just listening in today. Thanks, Anurag.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I think was there some Fluent operator releases as well from.
I think there was. So Fluent operator should have had.
Just one quick question. On Windows, how popular is the usage of the image pool for Windows, Fluent bit on Windows?
We don't have a Windows image official.
Docker containers are not popular, but the standard install on Windows is pretty popular.
Okay.
I'm always surprised by how much usage it gets with. I mean, I wouldn't say like we ignore it, but there's limitations. There, like certain things don't work on Windows for sure. And
okay. So what is your thinking about moving toward Cadence? Assuming Docker has it, what's our plan to increase the scope onto Windows? Because we have heard from AWS side, we have heard the usage and customer ask from on Windows as well. Just want to get your thinking on these directions.
Yeah, you could definitely use it today on Windows. There's no official Windows container, but maybe we just throw that out there. I guess it's really large. That's the thing. Like Windows container.
This is what I'm saying. I opened a discussion on it, like who's using it. The one we've got is 6 gigs, so it's like really big and takes a really long time to build in GitHub Actions. And then there's there's the complexity of Windows containers in that they have some alignment with the host as well. So your Windows version and your container-based version have to be close enough that they can talk to each other. So there's a few questions there. Is like, if we do a Windows container, what should we do?
Yeah. Okay. I think this is an open topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can build one right now. I just turned it off because I was like, this is less than an hour and a half, and it's
if we have that one, then I can just socialize with our PMs and what is exactly we want to do.
Well, I mean, it's only CI time, so but it's like, is anyone using it? That's the question. And I think Windows runners are like twice as expensive as Linux runners, so it's costs a lot of money compared to the Linux builds.
Yeah, so we this is some background. We're allotted some GitHub runners as part of being OSS, but yeah, generally, like, you have to share those resources across all our builds. So if we are doing Mac and Linux and like different distributions of Linux, then it will occupy most of the time doing like this Windows build. So it's not something we could probably do nightly for sure, unless it's hint on hint sponsored by someone like AWS. But
So for me, I would like to do it, but it just seems like at the moment, like I think so I raise it in here, like, we either do it and we make it good, or we don't have the Docker files in, because there's no point having Docker files in there that we don't build, because they won't, they'll be broken, and do they work? What's the point? So we need to like decide what we want in there. So that's my main question, is like, who's using it? Is anyone using it? Should we improve them, or should we just say, just make your own container and install the Windows packages directly, or something like that? That's another option. Could do it that way.
In the last three months, I've probably heard it more times than like I've expected. Maybe like 5 or 6 people have asked for the Windows containers. So
I think, as I say, I think we should have them, but they're just not in a good state at the moment. And the question is, they're not as straightforward as Linux containers because of that kind of coupling with the host. So the question is, like, we can't support like 10 different variants. We should just say, these are the versions we're supporting. And if you need a special Windows flavor for various special reasons, well, just fork it and do it. But yeah.
Hey, awesome. Anything else from anyone? Okay, I think we can give folks time back. It was a nice short one. So we'll talk next time, which will be, I think we'll have 2 more meetings before FluentCon. So these will be.
Are we doing the EU one, like the other time zone?
Yeah, I think instead of doing it every other week doing EU, I would suggest we do it once every 4. So we do once every, so with 3 in US time, and then 1 in EU APJ time. So it's like every 4 that time zone. Just because I mean, this one isn't a great example either, but it's like it seemed like the attendance rocked down with the different time zone.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think we could do with a bit more publicity on them as well, just to
or we could do 2. We could do 2 in the US, 1, so every 3. I think that's probably better. Let's do every 3 in Europe and APJ.
When's the next EU one? Is that?
So that would be not the next one, but the one after, the one right prior to FluentCon Europe, which actually makes sense, because if we do FluentCon Europe right before that.
I'm just trying to think. I think that might be when I'm on a separate conference.
So, okay. All right. Well, I can take over if we need.
We could get someone else in the EU to host it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining, Zhang-Hui, but we're actually wrapping up. And anything last minute though? We're happy we have some time.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to hear the mention what's gonna happen for the next release 1.9.1, 1.9.2. What is coming?
Yeah, let's do. I think for the next meeting, I'll put it in the agenda. Let's talk a little bit about like what we're thinking of for roadmap, like tracing support, filters.
Yeah, tracing filter. Yeah, so people can have some have visibility and what we
Yeah,
can do.
really, and also feedback. I think that's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like, tell us if it's off base or just not. Off.
No, I'm sure you get the feedback from the customers that this is the priority, but just share that say this is coming and
Yeah.
marketing before it is started.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, we'll
Good.
share that and then.
Yeah.
Thanks all. Bye for now.
Yeah, thanks, Anurag.